Hi, everybody. This is going to be a relatively quick lesson. This is on adjectives and adverbs. Remember that those are our modifiers. They tell us a little more about some of the other words in our sentences. We're going to start by looking at adjectives, and adjectives are modifiers that describe nouns and pronouns. And to identify our adjectives, we look for words that answer three basic questions about our nouns: what kind, which one, or how many. And there are 7 basic functional groups of adjectives that they are broken down into. And I've got them here on your notes that I've put up just so you can see and kind of follow along. And I'm actually going to start talking about number 6. This order that they're in kind of represents the order that they're presented to us in our textbook, in our online textbook. But I want you to be aware, because descriptive adjectives are the ones we recognize easily, right? Like red carpet. If we see a color, if we see green chair, we know that that is being used as an adjective. If we see large house, we understand immediately those descriptive adjectives are adjectives. They jump out at us. And so when those are missing, though, sometimes we have a little bit of a harder time determining the adjectives. And that's why I wanted to go over this list with you. Articles are maybe not words we consider adjectives, but they are. The words a, an, and the, those are adjectives. The store, we talked about that in another lesson. The store, the is an adjective. It's telling sort of which store, okay? There are also possessive adjectives, words that show ownership, like Gary's car or my book. Now, see, Gary is a name, so you might be confused. Gary is a noun. Gary is definitely a person. I know Gary. But in this sentence, remember how words are used to decide what parts of speech they are. In this sentence, Gary's is being used as an adjective because it's telling whose car it is, which car it is. It's Gary's car. Okay? So that's something important to remember. Limiting adjectives. These answer how many, how much, what order, or which one. See, like the top 10 realtors, 50 prizes. These are number words being used as adjectives because they're being used to describe a noun. There are proper adjectives. Proper nouns used descriptor style to modify another noun. A New York hotel, right? It doesn't say a hotel in New York City. If it was written that way, if it was written like this, a hotel in New York City, then both hotel and New York City would be nouns. These words would both be nouns if it was written this way, but it's not written that way. It says a New York hotel. So in this sentence, New York is functioning as an adjective, though it is a word you might not necessarily think of as an adjective. Again, this lesson is really bringing home how you have to consider how the word is being used before you determine it's part of speech. Compound adjectives are 2 or more words joined together to modify a single noun or pronoun, like a long-term contract. Those are a little bit easier to understand. And then we also have demonstrative adjectives, the pointing words, this, that, these, and those. Again, not words you would normally think about as being adjectives, but they are. Okay, and we contrast adjectives with adverbs. You see there's less specific notes here. Adverbs are words that modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. And they also answer questions, but they answer different questions. They tend to answer the questions how, when, where, how often, and to what extent, okay? And one sort of easy way to spot an adverb is that many of them end in ly. Rapidly, efficiently, carefully, they all end in ly. You just have to be careful with that because not every single adverb ends in ly. And also some words, friendly, costly, lonely, they end in ly and are not adverbs. Those are adjectives, okay? And there are several highly common adverbs, again, that do not end in ly. Some of those are very to, that type of thing. Here, there, yesterday, always, they don't end in ly, but they are adverbs. So don't live by this rule. But if you're looking for adverbs and you see an ly, at least check it out because that's a good hint that it may be one. Okay. When you want to determine whether a word is an adjective or an adverb in a tricky sentence, always look directly at the word it is modifying. If it is modifying an action verb, it's an adverb. If it's modifying a noun or a static state of being, it's an adjective. Okay, and sometimes it can get confusing, but you've got lots of other information in your module. I'm here to help you. We can work through figuring out this together. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.